We're going to be, let me see where we're going to be first. Numbers 11. One and two. You know, I guess if you were in charge of 1 million people, you would pray a lot. You know, and Moses was always making intercessions for the people. And this is really no different. And then everybody that's, read in the Old Testament, Israel do good for a while and complain. They just seem to complain a lot. So Moses had to pray for them a lot. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. And the fire of the Lord burned among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire was quenched. So, what would be the simplest solution to this for the people would be stop griping. You would think they would figure that out. But do we ever stop finding something to gripe about? And then Numbers 31, 4 through 9. All right. Of every tribe 1,000 throughout all the tribes of Israel shall we send to war. So there were delivered out of 1,000 of Israel, 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 iron for war. So he's being directed by God to do this. And Moses sent them to war, 1,000 of every tribe, them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, to the war with the holy instruments, the trumpets to blow in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. And they slew the kings of Midian, besides the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi, Rechem, Ezur, and Hur, and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also the son of Beor they slew with the sword. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian, captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their goods, their cattle, their flocks, and their goods. So now they kept all those people. So do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing? That they saved all the women alive. So the history of this, everybody knows who Balaam is? The guy that talked to the donkey, and he was going to go to the Mennonites, and Barak, I think his name was, they wanted him to curse Israel. Well, the history of it is he didn't do it because God told him not to, and he blessed Israel. So they sent him away, and he didn't get anything. But what he did do is he told them how to make Israel fall. And with what they kept, what do you think caused Israel to fall? Mennonite women. So now he has they're supposed to destroy them. So this is what I'm getting at about learning your lessons. So now go down to, where am I at? 13 of the same chapter. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over 1,000, captains over hundreds, which came to the battle. And Moses said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with them, keep alive for yourselves. And do you abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever killeth any person, and whoever touch the slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So they were supposed to just go out and destroy everybody. So they brought them back. So the only thing that they kept to the females were females that were never with a man. So that was, in theory, they wouldn't have had the sin of, what do they call that? Pure. So where they enticed the man and they sinned. And in all that, I'm trying to remember, so I don't want to get my stories messed up. I think Simeon was the one that did the most, and that's where Phineas stabbed him through with the javelin and killed both the man and the woman at the same time. And that ended the curse that was going against them that they talked about over here. So I'm guessing they're still wandering around. So this wasn't like it was 2 or 3 generations later. They're still wandering around in the wilderness. So it just had to be within years of the other thing happening. So, now Exodus 32, 30 through 35. In the beginning of this, so the history of this here, before we start reading, is Moses coming down from Mount Sinai because God said you need to get down there because the people have corrupted themselves. So this is while Moses is up getting the 10 Commandments, he throws the 10 Commandments, and then the idolaters, he kills them and grinds those calves into powder and makes them drink it. So now he's going to, for what's left and those that weren't really into it. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, You have sinned a great sin. Now I'll go up unto the Lord. Peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. Who else made a similar prayer like that? Or made a wish if his people couldn't be saved? Paul said he would give up his own if all of Israel could be saved. So, Daniel prayed for the people. Daniel's an interesting person. Like Moses, we can say he killed the Egyptian, so we knew that wouldn't. Samuel didn't make his sons support God. You can pretty much name the sins of the people. You can't with Daniel. The only reason you know for sure Daniel sinned is when one of the prayers, he said he confessed them and asked for forgiveness. So that's how you knew that Daniel was a sinner. But he was, when you think about it, he's royalty, right? He would have been one of the royals from there. And they carry him out to Babylon. And you can know who's taking care of him, right? Princes of the eunuchs. That's what every 15, 16-year-old boy wants to become. A eunuch. So, but what was the thing he said once he's there? He wants to make sure he doesn't sin against the Lord, so he didn't want to take the king's meat. Daniel was I guess if there's a good example in the Bible, he's a really good one. He was always thinking about God. And even with the threat, he opened his window and prayed 3 times a day, even though the rule was he's going to go in the lion's den. But so Moses asked that if he could be blotted out of the book. Therefore now go lead the people unto the place which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, my angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I will visit their sin upon them. And the Lord plagued the people because they made a calf which Aaron made. So they didn't get off scot-free here. Exodus 34, 1 through 9. So the table of stones he threw down, or however he did it, they broke. So now he has to go up and get 2 more. And the Lord said unto Moses, Hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tables the words that were in the first tables, which thou breakest. And be ready in the morning, and come in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor the herds feed before that mount. And he hewed the 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moses rode up early in the morning and went unto the Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hands the 2 tables of stone. And the Lord descended in a cloud and stood with him and proclaimed the name of the Lord. And the Lord passed by before him and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, and forgiving iniquity and transgressions and sin, that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children, unto the 3rd and 4th generation. So just an interesting question. So why does that, what the parents do now, why does that still seem to punish the kids to the 3rd and 4th generation? Something has to break the cycle for them to come. So if the dad's not doing very good, you think he's really spending the time he's supposed to teaching this kid about God? So he's not teaching like he's supposed to. What does the next kid, who's he going to act like? So, and then something in there breaks that. Although, which was kind of strange to me, Hezekiah, the king right after him was Manasseh. I mean, you couldn't get a worse king. And then after him, might be fibbing here a little bit, Jedediah or whatever that one guy was that was such a good. So, it doesn't always go to like that. But the idea is, it's not really God forcing the punishment onto all them. We create that for our kids if we're not doing right. Right. It's actually pretty scary what people do or don't do for the kids. It's my dad. I grew up in an era where we were pretty much. It was best not to be seen, because Because if you knew you weren't doing nothing, that wouldn't last very long. So you were always out. We never, not once, would I ever dream to go into my dad and tell him I was bored. That was not even in my train of thought. So, you give him, I would be out cleaning his garage or something like that. I wouldn't be bored any longer. So now, made the print too small. And now Moses made haste, so he's going to pray to God for the people again, and bowed his head towards the earth and worshiped. And he said, if now I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, let my Lord, I pray thee, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, behold, and God makes a covenant with him, before all thy people I will do marvels such as not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. All the people among which thou shalt see the work of the Lord, for there is terrible thing that I will do with thee. So, Moses knows that they're not a very pliable people. That's what he meant by they're stiff-necked. What was it he said when he smote that? You rebels. And then he smote that rock instead of talking to it. He sometimes had not a real high opinion of the people there. And then Numbers 16, 1 through 35. And this here is where, you got the gainsaying of Korah and what they did with them. So, I would say, because I've read this before, I don't think Korah and them prayed about this before they acted. This is how I'm going to go with it. And when is always the best time to pray before you do something? Before you do it. Instead of like I have to do sometime, well, Lord, I really need help getting out of this, So, now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Pelah, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses and certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of assemblies, famous in the congregation, men of renown. So, what does that kind of imply about these guys? Huh? But not only that, and the people have a high opinion of them. They have a high opinion of themselves. So, and we know that they didn't pray about this first. I'm going to make that as a statement right up front. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, you take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. So, what are they implying? Yeah, they're saying that Moses and Aaron chose this position, and that they were the ones that wanted this. And now he's saying, no, we're just as good as you are. And Moses realizes how much trouble they're in. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto the company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will shew you who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him, even whom he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. This do, take you censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. You take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. So, and I don't remember exactly what Korah's job was, but who was the priest? Aaron and his son. Korah is a son of Levi also. He was either, I can't remember if he's the one that carried the tabernacle or if he was the ones that carried the boards or had the, but different, there's three families other than Aaron that had things that they did when they tore down the tabernacle and put it up. So he did have a job within that. It just wasn't Aaron. And that's what he's saying he wanted. And Moses said unto Korah, Hear I pray you, you sons of Levi, seeth it but a small thing unto you, that the Lord God of Israel hath separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and seek ye the priesthood also? For which cause both thou and thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron, that you murmur against him? And you know, David truly understood who he sinned against. You know, if you think about it, he committed adultery with Bathsheba and killed her husband. But in Psalms 51, who did he say he sinned against? God and him only. You know, that's truly, not that you don't affect other people, but I don't think people grasp that what I might do to Lewis or what I might do to you, I'm actually doing to God. And David understood that. These guys are getting ready to. For this cause thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. What is Aaron that you murmur against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, We will not come up. It is a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey. Now they're describing Egypt. To kill us in the wilderness, except you make thyself altogether a prince over us. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into the land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance or fields and vineyards, where thou put out the eyes of these men, we will not come up. And Moses was very wroth, and said unto the Lord, Respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, Be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow. And take every man his censers, and put incense in them, and bring you before the Lord every man his censers. 250 censers thou, thou also, and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood at the door of the tabernacle, in the congregation with Moses and Aaron. Now these guys knew this happened. What happened to two of the sons of Aaron for putting strange fire in their censer? Yeah, he killed them. So you would think that they're figuring out things probably aren't going to work out too well for us. But they didn't pick that up. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with the whole congregation? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get thou up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elder of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sin. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, their wives, their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, Hereby shall you know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me. So, if they die a natural death, God did not send Moses. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth, and swallow them up with all that obtaineth unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed them up, their houses, and all the men that are pertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that are pertained unto them, and went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, and they said, At least the earth swallows us also. And there came out a fire from the Lord, and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. So, everybody that thought they were something, and we're going to tell God how he was going to do it, because that's really what they're doing, right? If they're going to Moses and Aaron, who are they really unhappy with? God. So they're telling God what he's going to do. He said no. And now, which is interesting, I always think that when God does stuff, then he makes an example. So what do you think happens with all those censers? Huh? Whatever those three guys, Korah, Dathan, and Abidan, those three people and all their family that are there by their tents, they went down. The 250 men with their censers and Aaron are over here someplace. And God sent fire down and destroyed those 250 men. So their censers and everything is burned up. So what do you think becomes of the censers? Yeah, they were brass. So now, and the Lord spake unto Moses, Speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that ye take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter it out of the fire yonder, for they are hallowed. The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make broad plates for the covering of the altar, for they offer them before the Lord, therefore they are hallowed, and they shall be assigned to the children of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers wherewith they had burnt and had offered, and there he made the broad plates for the covering of the altar. So for years, if people knew their history, every time they did a sacrifice, what these people did would have been immortalized on the altar. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, if you said a cloud that's guiding you around your life.
Pardon me?
Cloud guiding you around your life.
Yeah. Where I always like the cartoon where it's only raining on one person. You know you're not a good But yeah, I always sit when I read, and I am reading now in Exodus. You think about, man, I wouldn't want to be Moses.
Well, the next day they rebelled, wasn't it?
Yeah, there.
They got to see and 250 people because Korah and Dathan and Abidan. Then the next day, guess what?
Oh, I don't think I did this one. Let me look. I think I'm missing one. Oh, I did. The other one that I don't have marked here, which is a story that I always think is strange that they did it, is whatever it was that they did, God sent fiery serpents to bite them. and it killed them. So they made a fiery serpent and put it up on the pole, and when they looked at it, if they were bit, they lived. That kind of implies there were people that were too proud to look. So they would have died still. Even though so it's the same thing today. What would that be a representative to? Something that was up on the cross. Well, that is what it is for that. I meant Jesus was up on the cross, and people don't want to accept what he did. And so, right. Right. And then even Israel, they destroyed it at one time because they started worshiping it. I forgot what they called it, but they were worshiping the brazen serpent. So, anything else? So, if not,